Hey, what's up guys? Today's video is about PowerShell for Office 365. So we are going to step away from the GUI and get a little bit more into the command line by adding cloud users. So if you're not familiar with PowerShell, I would strongly recommend that you check the links below in the description because in my opinion, PowerShell is simply essential for all kind of administration. So you can be managing Office 365 or you can be managing on-prem servers. As soon as you need to repeat a task multiple times, you must think PowerShell. So let's get started. I'm currently on the tenant, logged into the tenant, and I'm on my users, and I'm simply gonna refresh the page just to prove that I only have those two users. And we're gonna be adding cloud users with PowerShell. So let's switch into PowerShell now. I've already created the script just for sake of rapidity. I also put in the description all the prerequisites that you need in order to be able to connect to Office 365 by using PowerShell. So the first thing we need to do is we need to connect. So the first line is get credential, and this is going to open a window and ask me for my credential. And we're going to store those values into the variable named cred. On the second line, we are connecting to MSOL service. And you will notice that I believe that all the commands for Office 365 are starting with MSOL for Microsoft Online Services. And so we're using this command, and for the credentials, we are using the cred variable that we actually created in here. Then we need to import some users. Again, the purpose of using PowerShell is to repeat multiple times the same thing. So in that case, we want to add multiple users. So we need to create a CSV file, which you can see on the left of the screen I have on my desktop. So we're going to import this CSV file and store those into a variable called users. And then the next thing will be to add those users. So we're going to use the new MSOL user commandlet. And so we're going to do a for each loop for PowerShell to go through the CSV file and for each user retrieve the information. So we have the user principal name, for instance, and we want PowerShell to refer to the, whoops, I'm not going to do this. So let me just go back. And we want PowerShell just to refer to the user principal name column header in the CSV. But as a matter of fact, I am going to open the CSV file so you can have a look at what we have in here. So the first row would be the column headers, and we have the user principal name, we have the first name, last name, and so on that we're going to use to create those users. And for the value we have just fake names, so Bob Smith, for instance, and with the domain that we're going to use for the cloud user. And I've just set different location. So the usage location is actually not mandatory. However, because we are licensing the users directly, it becomes mandatory. Another thing is that I will show you when we connect to Office 365 how you get the account SKU ID if you don't know how to get that. Let me just close this. And the last part, which is important as well, you can notice that nowhere I've actually mentioned a password. So we create the user and we have no password. But it's actually because what we want to do, we want PowerShell to create an auto-generated password. And that is the reason why we are actually exporting a new file. So this will create a new file on the desktop, as it says on the path, and the password would be in this file, and it will be auto-generated by Office 365. So now let's just run the script. Because I'm going to run the full script, I don't need to highlight anything in here. So I'm simply going to go, and either you can press F5 on your keyboard or you can just click on this icon. So I'm going to click on this icon, And this is opening the window to ask me for my credentials, which I'm going to enter now. So from my tenant, the global admin I have is this one. So my demo 12345 Microsoft.com, and then the password. And when I'm going to click on OK, then the full script is going to run. Okay, so it just took actually a couple of seconds and we are back to the prompt in here. We have no error message. So we can actually assume that the file has been created, the export file with the passwords, and the users are now in Office 365. I'm gonna look for the CSV file exported on my desktop, which is probably on my second screen. Yes, so here it is. Again, it's been created, so that's the same. I'm just going to open that one, and then we're going to check if the passwords are in this file. And so sure enough, the passwords are in the first column of the file. So very good. Now we're just going to close this. And close this as well. And we are going to verify that the users are in Office 365 now. So I'm simply going to refresh the page. And here they are. So I have my 3 users in here. And when I click on them, I can see that they are properly licensed the way I wanted them to be licensed. So that's perfect. And I can see that as well in here. So that's it for today, guys. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Employee,